The Harlot. I want you to take a close look at this picture. In the background is the institutional church. Grandiose, majestic, stately, beautiful. To the forefront is a couple seducing one another, yet in chains, in bondage. They are not aware that they are in bondage because they are caught up in the moment, in the throes of passion, ecstasy, or an altered state of consciousness, awake yet asleep. Romans 13:11. In that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. When we hear the word seduction today, we automatically see a picture in our minds of the couple embedded in the picture. We automatically think of two people being seduced into forbidden sexual behavior. When the Bible speaks of seducing spirits in 1 Timothy 4:1, we automatically assume that the word is talking about spirits that tempt one to have sex out of the confines of marriage or other illicit sexual behavior. 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. The Greek word for seducing here is plainos, which means wandering, roving, misleading, leading into error, impostor, corrupter, deceiver. It speaks of nothing sexual in its proper context. The enemy can and does seduce, entice, arouse, tempt people, but not just sexually to do the wrong thing in the natural. No, that is just to introduce to you what it feels like to be seduced. In the Old Testament, God referred to his people in Israel as a harlot. In the book of Revelation, God also refers to the harlot. So who is the harlot in end times? Some think that the harlot is the world and its systems without Christ, and that the institutional church is the bride of Christ. At Rescue, we realize that God would not refer to the world as the harlot because the world has always been separated from him. We suspect that as Israel strayed from God and was compared to a harlot, that the harlot is the false bride of Christ, the pretender. In other words, the institutional church. That same feeling, that same exhilaration and escapism one gets from having sex has been duplicated, per se, in the organized church system. It has been repackaged to appear to be holy, to appear to be God, to appear divine, and no one is properly discerning seducing spirits. In the pulpit, in concerts, in conferences, in revivals, on popular so-called Christian programming on TV, at altars, in private prayer meetings, dancing in the aisles, running around the church, speaking in tongues, falling all out under the pews, prophesying, teaching, and preaching. They are believing all of this is God, when it is nothing more than a seducing spirit deceiving the masses. He has tantalized your flesh, your senses. That includes your ability to see, hear, taste, touch, and smell, your soul, your will, your emotions, even your body, right there in the middle of a church service. And you have mistaken it all for a move of God. The enemy will use this as a device to set you up for a fall, just like a man who seduces a woman, whispers all kinds of sweet nothings in her ear, and pretends to be her knight in shining armor. At first, her guard is up, but he is patient and persistent. Finally, the day comes that she can no longer deny she is in love with him, and she gives him her heart. He's become a part of her that she now can't live without. And just when she reaches that point of throwing caution to the wind, that's when he will just up and disappear, leaving her shattered. She thought that anyone who could make her feel the way he did, and would take the time necessary to woo and wait on her for as long as he did, couldn't possibly be playing. The fact is, he hadn't ever been waiting. He had plenty of other women on the side, and she was just a back-burner project. It cost him nothing to play, so the game could go on as long as it would take her to become dependent on him. It was a game, and she had just been a toy the entire time. Only the religious demons and fallen angels do this while pretending to be God. So now God looks like the bad guy. In like manner, the IC will woo you, and once you become a member, She will drop you like a hot potato in her pursuit to seduce and win yet another newcomer. What is she after? A religious convert who puts the institution above all else. For example, if you have a choice between paying your rent and tithing, then you must choose to give that money to her. Religious seducing demons in the IC can make those pleasurable hypnotic feelings come back anytime they want to. They make you feel so accepted and unconditionally loved. They can turn it on and off. If they suspect you may be onto them, they will probably turn it right back on temporarily to throw you off guard, knowing good and well that as soon as they get you right back where they want you, they will snatch it away again. Some people will come to rescue because they lost that love that they thought was from Jesus. They think that we are here to help them get it back, but we're not going to help you get back to a love that came from demons to start with. If you are dealing with seducing religious spirits, how they want to make you feel is up to them, not us and not you. The only thing that takes away their power is for you to recognize them for what they are and renounce them, to say, I know who you are now. I know these warm, fuzzy feelings are from demons. This is not God. So then they have no more reason to keep up the charade. See how nice and loving they are when they have nothing left to gain by stringing you along. So the question you've got to ask yourself is this: is God a liar who says he loves you unconditionally and then goes right back on it and conditionally snatches it away? Or does that sound more like something the enemy would do? And all these evil spirits are working together to seduce you into sleeping with the harlot church. Again, much like the temptress seduces her man, the spirit of religion is on the prowl, has the hots for you. It is insatiable. It won't be satisfied till she's got you. Her very bowels, the institutional church's womb, yearns and craves for your soul. She wants so bad to birth something else, so she keeps trying to put you to sleep, looking to impregnate you with her deception. You'll notice how within the IC, they are always trying to birth something new. Yet, without the gospel preached in its fullness, the only thing she is birthing is false conversions. The IC gains her strength through you. The reason why we ask those we work with to leave the IC is because every time you go back, you are making her seducing power over you and those around you even stronger. The spirit of religion, the harlot church, is the most powerful seductress, the most enticing temptress of them all. Walk away from her and never ever look back. It is a trap. Pastor Pam has much to say about the IC as the harlot church when she concludes that there are no good churches.
It is going to take me a minute to explain why I believe there are no good churches. Now, there are many good people in the churches, but I am talking about the system of churches. You know, the Bible refers to the harlot, and I believe that the harlot is the institutional church. The harlot, when you consider a natural hoe, a harlot is not interested in anything but herself, y'all. She will do anything to get that money, to get that paper. She will even go so far as to make him the John feel that he is indispensable to her and she loves him. But the truth of the matter, she don't even love her pimp. He is the means to an end. The hoe is about herself. and she will do whatever she can to find out your weakness, capitalize on your weakness, and clean out your pocketbook. Now, don't that sound like the institutional church to you? A hoe who will tell you what you want to hear about God, who will appeal to all aspects of your flesh through worship and works, and cause you to think that she really loves you, but she don't care a thing about you. She'll cut you off her rolls if you don't come up with that money, with them tithes. She will throw your behind out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of you watching me right now have gone through this. She literally cleaned you out and told you a bunch of lies. Like, if you give to the preacher, you're going to get the preacher's anointing and all that kind of foolishness. So, when I say there are no good churches, I don't mean that there are no good people in the churches, because there are. I know. I was one of them. There for 25 years. So, just from my own experience, I know there are good people in the churches. So, the issue then becomes that it's not the individual. It is the system. Now, the Lord gave us some very simple wisdom. He said, you know them by their fruit. Look at the tree. Look at how it got founded. And that will determine for you what the fruit is going to be. Because a good tree does not bring forth evil fruit. He made it plain. And he said sin is like leaven or yeast. You put yeast in some bread, a little bit of flour, and that thing gonna puff up and spread and permeate the entire thing. So, when you consider that the institution itself is about 1700 years old, the institution, you know, that the church had a long time for that leaven called sin to spread throughout her and contaminate everything. You know, I like to use this example. People can agree with me on a lot of issues, the false doctrine and all that, but then they'll say, but there gotta be some good churches. I know, because I went to one, everybody was smiling, they had all kinds of programs, they were giving to the poor people in India, so many good projects going on. Man in himself is capable of a lot of good according to man's standards. But no man's good can compare to God's standards. And I'm telling you, God has never really been in the institutional church. He did not form it. Go study your history, how it came about. That's how I got to see that the church that I started in 1996 and closed 12 years later, that it was not a good thing. I look at what happened, how it got started, what was going on at the time, how it got founded, who was involved. And I came to the conclusion that the church that I started, it was formed by the devil. And the devil's intent was to kill me. He wanted me to get so frustrated with what I thought God was doing or not doing with the church that I founded, that rejection and emotional pain that came at me from the people the devil sent to me, that was going to destroy me. Y'all see me here right now, right? It did not. Listen, I was sent some cold, hard, evil folk who grin in your face one day, suck you up for years, and then decide they don't want no parts of you no more. Don't even give you a reason. Just turn their phone off. Walk away from you after you poured 5 years, 10 years into their lives. I don't even know what I would do if I seen some of them on the street. Would I speak? The day has got to come, because I don't know. But I do know one thing. They were all, every last one of them, sent by the devil to destroy me. Because I thought I had a good church. But it was in the system. And the system itself is what is evil, not the people. Though plenty of them are. But the system. And I could say a whole lot about them folk. I always kept a small church. And I'm telling you, the turnover, you know, they lasted. They stayed a while. They stayed a year. They stayed 2. They stayed 5. One of them even stayed 10. You know, and then there was one that was tagging along with me even before I started the church. He was there 20. All sent by the devil to destroy me. Destroy me with emotional pain and rejection. But it didn't happen. I still here, y'all. I am still